Southern soldiers attacked a U.S. garrison at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, 5 weeks after Abraham Lincoln became president. It was the first battle of the American Civil War. President Lincoln immediately began building up the Union Army to prevent the South from breaking away, which he said would be terrible, not only for the people of the United States, because it would destroy their country, but also for people everywhere else in the world. For many foreign kings and queens didn't want freedom for their people. They wanted all the power for themselves and their children. And so, if the United States destroyed itself in a civil war, thought President Lincoln, foreign rulers would say that regular folk really weren't able to govern themselves. And so, President Lincoln felt that if the South won, it could mean the end of democracy in the world. Democracy is the kind of government in which people elect representatives to make laws for everyone. In other words, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The North had big cities that could supply thousands of soldiers, and large factories that could make powerful weapons. So most people felt that the war would last only a few months, and that the South would be defeated easily. But a major battle at the beginning of the war showed that the South would not be defeated easily. For General Robert E. Lee, a very skillful military leader, led the Confederate Army. On the other hand, President Lincoln couldn't find a general whose skills matched those of General Lee. First, he tried General George McClellan, then General John Pope, then General Ambrose Burnside, then General John Hooker. Finally, General Ulysses S. Grant proved to be the right man for the job. Besides trying to find a good general, Abraham Lincoln faced other difficulties as president. He was criticized in the nation's newspapers. They wrongly accused him as being a weak leader. For instance, they said he didn't know whether he was a peacemaker or a warrior. But Abraham Lincoln proved his critics wrong when in 1862 he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, the first step in freeing all the slaves. Only the strongest of leaders, say many historians, could have done that. The war continued for almost 3 more years. Finally, though, in April 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, and the war ended. Once again, the United States of America became a nation united. And African Americans, now free, began their long march toward equal treatment under the law. The United States has had many wonderful presidents over the years. They have led our nation with honor in war and peace, in good times and in bad. But only a very few have been truly great leaders, those who have met the most difficult challenges a president can face, and, through great heroism, have led the nation out of terrible danger. Abraham Lincoln was one of those few, and, say some, the greatest of them all. For he was not born into a wealthy, important family, and as a child he was not able to spend much time in school, but he taught himself, and was always honest in his dealings, a man who could be trusted to do the right thing. He wasn't handsome, but he was wise and fair, and perhaps the greatest American hero of all time.